Hello, this is History Shorts with the Artifactual Scholar. Today, I'll be talking about Coxes Army. During the 1870s and 80s, the United States experienced a period of dramatic industrial and economic growth. Yet, by the early 1890s, stresses had begun to appear in the economic structure of the nation. And in 1893, the economy screeched to a halt. The Panic of 1893 was the deepest economic recession in American history to that point. As businesses folded and banks collapsed, more people lost their jobs. At its deepest point, about 20% of the American workforce was unemployed. Despite the hardships and growing economic crisis, the federal government did nothing. Prompted by the economic conditions, Jacob Coxey, an Ohio businessman, attempted to rouse the government from its inaction. Coxey hoped to convince Congress to undertake a public works program, including the construction of roads and public buildings, as a way of relieving the nationwide unemployment. To that end, Coxey gathered together a group of unemployed men and began a march to Washington, D.C. Leaving Ohio on Easter Sunday, 1894, the group, known as the Commonweal Army, or Coxes Army, began the long trek to the nation's capital. As the group moved through Pennsylvania and Maryland, it attracted more followers. By the time Coxey's Army reached the outskirts of Washington in late April, it numbered about 500 people. Coxey's group settled into an encampment of some 6,000 other unemployed men. Despite the presence of the protest marchers, Congress still remained unresponsive. Coxey and other members of his contingent made their way to the Capitol to present their case directly to legislators, but were not allowed into the building. In fact, Coxey and others were arrested for trespassing on the Capitol lawn. Shortly thereafter, the protest march dissolved. Coxey was released from jail and returned to Ohio, where he repeatedly and unsuccessfully ran for political office. In 1914, he led a second march on Washington, D.C. Finally, in 1931, he was elected mayor of Massillon, Ohio. On a related side note, the march of Coxey's Army was followed by many newspaper reporters, including a young L. Frank Baum. Some literary scholars think that Coxey's march to the Capitol may have shaped Baum's most famous story about a group journeying to an Emerald City to seek assistance from a wizard. Though Coxey's Army failed to achieve its stated goal of forcing congressional action, it did initiate an important American tradition. Coxey's Army is widely regarded as the first populist protest march on Washington, D.C., paving the way for numerous other marches throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, and may have, incidentally, inspired one of the great works of American fiction. This has been History Shorts. Thanks for watching.